let's get into something here that concerns us all. It concerns me because I have a little daughter. It concerns you because many of you have children, and if you don't, maybe you will someday, or maybe you have grandchildren, or maybe you have nieces and nephews, or somebody young that you care about. The watchwords of the French Revolution were liberty, equality, and fraternity, which at first sound quite commendable, don't they? The words that actually began the French Revolution were, and I quote, "Now is the time," end quote. You look around, you'll see those words being used more and more in this country, and it will surprise you exactly who is using them. I'll say it again for you so you can listen for it. Quote, "Now is the time," end quote. See, our forefathers were escaping from tyranny. They were escaping from religious persecution. They were escaping from persecution by kings and queens and despots. They were escaping from British Freemasonry. They were escaping from what was taking hold on the continent, which caused the French Revolution, which eventually became known as socialism. You see, Marx didn't invent socialism. It was a long, long time before he came along. He just put it into words. He wrote down the tenets of socialism. There's a battle going on underground between power groups, and there are four main groups, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not going to go into that tonight because I've done it many, many times. I want to talk about the NEA tonight, the National Education Association. The watchwords of the French Revolution were liberty, equality, and fraternity. By liberty was meant license to do your own thing. Morality, rebelling against authority. By equality was not meant equal opportunity, but a leveling of the masses under philosopher kings, an elite, including educational, who through social engineering would shape a socialistic society. And by fraternity was not meant a brotherhood based upon the Holy Bible or based upon the kinship of human beings, but rather a humanistic brotherhood based upon what all ethical systems have in common, headed by a master race who consider themselves to be the only truly mature minds in the world, and the other races and the masses of people are the children to be taken care of. Now, humanistic education is religious proselytizing of students in opposition to biblical beliefs, and it's evident from a statement by John Dewey, who was the co-author of the first Humanist Manifesto, coincidentally published in 1933. And if you really think it's a coincidence, you better think again. He was also the Honorary National Education Association president, ladies and gentlemen, in 1932. In Religion and Our Schools, published in the Hibbert Journal in July 1908, John Dewey said this, and I quote, "Our schools are performing an infinitely religious work. They are promoting the social unity out of which, in the end, genuine religious unity must grow. Religion, associated with dogmatic beliefs, we see disappearing. It is the part of man to labor persistently and patiently for the clarification and development of the positive creed of life, and to work for the transformation of all practical instrumentalities of education till they are in harmony with these ideas," end quote. John Dewey was a 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite. It's the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry that promoted the National Education Association, promoted public school systems run by state governments, and now has promoted the United States Department of Education to turn all of our kids over to Big Brother. And we've got all of their publications over all these years to prove every word that I just said. Coincidentally, their magazine used to be called The New Age. The non-dogmatic positive creed of life, which Dewey would come to call a common faith, was like the humanistic brotherhood and sisterhood of the French Revolution, also brought about by Freemasonry. And the NEA has been perhaps the organization most responsible for furthering the principles of the French Revolution in the United States in this century. Folks, the chronology of this labor union during all this time is absolutely incredible. The National Education Association distributes, quote, Combating the New Right, end quote, which is a training program developed by the NEA Western States Regional Staff. It criticizes Phyllis Schlafly, Mel and Norma Gabler, Howard Phillips, and other members of the New Right. The program tells a teacher, quote, you are a target of the far right, end quote, if, quote, you ask students to examine their values, teach sex education, ever indicate it may be okay to lie, teach about values different from those of the student's parents, teach that anything goes, or if you feel it's okay, do it. Train your students to be global citizens, teach humanism, etc., end quote. I believe that all adults are free to do anything not expressly forbidden by the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of their state, or the laws of the community in which they live, provided they never injure the person or property of any other human being. But I draw the line in teaching this stuff to children who are below an age of understanding of what they are being taught, or the ability to discern how they are to use what they are being taught. If this is to be taught, it should be taught in the home, and not in the school by these Marxist socialists who are bent upon destroying the greatest nation that's ever existed upon the face of this earth so that they can have their one world totalitarian socialist utopian government.